Welcome to the Mr. Ackerman Rant, and I'm your host, Mr. Ackerman. And right now, I'm going to be doing this podcast just because it's easy setup. Talk about lazy, but I got to do it. You're not lazy if you're doing it. If you're trying to make things happen, you're making things happen. So, and I'm a procrastinator, and this is the way to cure my procrastination. So this podcast is curing my procrastination on things of my own personal projects. I always work on a ton of other people's projects. And then I realized, like, I love myself. I need to take care of myself, and I need to do things for myself as well, so I can help others out making their content. And after a while, like, you do start, and when you're making stuff like this multimedia interface, and you start making your own stuff, and you're doing your YouTube videos or your Instagram videos, TikToks and whatnots, you do, if you're good at it, the double-edged sword is somebody will ask you, hey, can you come and help me? Or you get hired on to other projects and you start working for other people. And then all of a sudden you find yourself in this creative depression where you're like, I have no time to do the things I want to do because I'm doing all these other things that other people want to do, which is important because you love doing them, but you don't want to, compromise your own time. And so you have to find time to do your own things, in which in my case, I find out I have to get up really early in the morning, stay up really late at night just to do these things. Or like what I'm doing this podcast right now, I just got to find the time when I find the time. And so we're going to be doing this podcast. What I'm going to say right here, right now, I'm going to try, and it might not be perfect. You got to try, right? Especially those of you who listen to your favorite shows and stuff like that. And whoever is listening to, please like, subscribe, follow, all those things that you're supposed to do on any social media, wherever this is playing. If this is playing on YouTube, Instagram, whatnot, please give us a follow, a like, tell people about us and all that kind of stuff. Tell people about me. My name's Mr. Ackerman. I do plan on, I don't know what I'm going to do exactly with this show, but I do know this. This is what I'm going to do, is I've talked to a lot of people out in my normal life and personal life. And one thing they do is they miss me talking or ranting. And it's not really rants. They could be rants sometimes, but they're more like perspectives or motivational perspectives, just to like things that I went through, that I talked myself through, or other people helped me through, where I motivate and I talk about stuff. And I might just talk about things in general. I might even, who knows, we might derail and talk about movies and all that good stuff. And I hope that when you find this podcast, this is the one for you. And this is what it'll be. This is the podcast setup. This is how we're going to be. It could change over a course of time, because I plan on to have guests, especially my wife. I want my wife on here. She's the one who started me with this. We did a first little podcast that started off. It was like the pilot episode that wasn't even done with the right proper equipment and all that good stuff. But we're going to be doing this. I'm going to try to do this as anytime as I can. And also I'm going to try to do this as a weekly thing. And all the details will be in the descriptions of when these will play and when what they'll do. And I don't know the length of them. I'm just starting. This is all brand new. This is a way for me to feel that creative depression, that creative juices, because I like to talk. And so right now I'm going to start talking. And so this is what we're going to be talking about. I don't know. I have no idea. But something came to me. I've been thinking about, like, right, well, let's talk about what I'm doing right now. So right now I'm working on multiple projects. I've worked on a few wedding videos lately. My two younger brothers just got married. All my younger brothers are married now. My brother Chad, Chase, and Corbin, they're all married now. And so it's cool. And I'm married. We're all part of the marriage club. So we all got married. Chad's been married, and we got married around close to the same time. But anyways, and then my two little brothers, they got married in the same month. One at the beginning of the month, and one at the end of the month. Crazy. Why I'm thinking about it is because I just sent them out there. I made these little short videos that I posted on Instagram for them, and I just gave them downloadable links today. And it's been this month is we're in September, end of September. Towards the end of September, and their weddings were in July. So I finally gave the videos have been out. I haven't been one of those people where I don't get it out in time. And also a friend of mine, we filmed their wedding, Corbin and Chase, and our friends from our church. I filmed their wedding, and that was cool. And I just got out their video today. Finally got it out because I've been so busy. Life happens, and that's where we'll talk about it. Like, how do you keep moving forward when life happens? And me, I find myself, I do get into this thing when we're going to explain what the definition, what I'm talking about, because we realize when we communicate, people mean different things. Like I used to do the sketch comedy thing in I used to be a high school teacher, a media high school teacher. And what we would do in the class is we would do these sketches, and I wrote this script called Dude. And I wrote this story, and it's called Dude. And the characters are called Dude 1, Dude 2, and there's a Dude 3, maybe a Dude 4. There was variation. I did it. I used to work also in after school programs. So, but we did this script, and we made these characters, and I did the script, wrote it out, gave it to the class, and the volunteers would come up to show. We would showcase this idea, this exercise where your name's Dude. And the only word you say in the phrase is dude. So, for example, I can be like if I'm excited, I can say, dude. If I'm like, oh, dude, that's wrong, dude. Or I can be I can be mad, dude. Or watch out, dude. You can use dude in different subtext by just saying the word dude by how your tonality is. And so that's how communication works, right? So all of us, we have our different ways of communication, because that's why the text messaging thing, people there's a whole there's sketch comedies about this, wherein texting came about and people were texting each other. There's people getting in texting feuds, and then the other person, there'll be A person and B person. A person's just having just sitting and enjoying their time. B person wants to know something, and the A person takes it as they're mad at them or something like that, because there's no context to the text. They're not sure what it is, and there's a miscommunication. And I think all of you know what I'm talking about. We've been in that situation. Is this person mad at me? They were really short with me. They just said K instead of OK, spelling it out to OKAY. They just put K. They don't care. That's how, and it's all funny because it's our self-reflection, our reflection on on other people, and how we project our emotions and our feelings and what we're going through in, day out. That's what happens. So what I'm getting to is when you're working on something, you're going to do something, I'm going to take on the day. I'm going to be the best baseball player. I'm going to be the best football player. I'm going to be the best photographer. I'm going to be the best videographer. I'm going to be the best at what I want to be. And you're all gung-ho, yeah. Then you get sick. Life happens. You get sick. You get the flu. You get you have a migraine, whatever it is. It just takes you down. And then once you get over that, where's that excitement again, that where you want to take on the day and go do what you need to do? So there's a lot of things that happen when life happens. And so, or something happens, your car breaks down, or a family member, something happens to them and you got to be there and help them out or whatever. What do you do when life happens? How do you keep moving forward? And what I'm finding is it's like me, how it starts. I'm going to just talk personally. Just recently, there's been a lot of things that have happened in my life recently. A lot of things are happening. So let's start from there, I guess. I'm going to talk about really quick, and it's kind of nice. I'm gonna try to break this up and then try to maybe tie it in a package. And as we do these podcasts, this is a little break, a little side note here, a little cliff note. As I do these things, I'm gonna figure out my my routine and figure out what it is, and I don't want it to be hindered at all, because I'm not diagnosed, self-diagnosed ADD, and as you'll see as I'm talking, I talk really fast. Sometimes I'll talk a little different. Sometimes I'll be in a different mood. It depends on the mood of the day, right? All of us are that way. We can all relate, I guess. So, but today when I'm talking about life happens, I'll title this podcast, this first episode. This is actually a first official episode of the Mr. Ackerman Rant podcast 3000. And if you found it right now, you are a part of it right this second. And so I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're listening. I'm glad you're a part of it. I'm glad you watched the teaser trailer for this podcast. I'm glad you're waiting. Hit those bell notifications, all the notifications, whatever they are. Hit them, subscribe, whatever it is. And this thing is going to be pretty much, I'm going to let myself mess up and try to, get through this. Even right now, as I speak, things are happening. I just started doing this. And so people are like right now trying to call me, get a hold of me. But right now I'm making time for this right now, this podcast. So let's talk about life happens and you're trying to become the best you can become. Like you made a declaration, like I'm going to work out. I'm going to be fit. I'm going to start to lose weight and all that kind of stuff. I started doing all those things. Right now there's a time like I've hit the age where I'm starting to do this, like I can't hold like a book at the right, I have to hold the book at a right angle or at the right distance, just so I can be able to see it. And I don't know what I need to do, but I have to be able to like, it's like I'm aging. And so one thing, I'm aware of my age. So what I'm doing right now is, as I'm aware of my age, is like, I need to start eating healthy. I need to start dieting. I got to do all this stuff. I have to change my lifestyle if I want to become something. Like in 5 years, where do I see myself? And I don't want to see myself in 5 years like a slob and and look horrible. I want to be like, wow, he looks better. My goal is I want to be able to go, wow, he looks really good. He's how old? That's what I want to be. Like, even though I'm going to age gracefully, I want that, and I want to work on that. The other thing is, I have a lot of things I love to do. I have a lot of things I'm very good at. I love to draw. I love to animate. I love to make movies. I love to write. I love to act. I love to talk, and that's what this feels, is the loving talk, where I can just talk to you guys uninterrupted, hopefully uninterrupted. We'll see, because this is called Life Happens, so we'll see. This is our experiment happening right now, where life could happen at this very moment, and it is happening right now. So I'm trying to stay focused. But anyways, what I've been doing, I'm just going to talk about this, and what I find that is helping right now is, one thing I started doing was I started realizing that it starts at somewhere. There's always something called the root of a problem, right? Like when you see a tree really big and it's huge and it's gigantic, it has huge like roots that go out, so it holds that tree up so it doesn't fall down. And those roots go into the ground and they hold in and they take up that nutrients. And then you can see another tree. Sometimes you'll see a tree and it's sick and gross, and you're finding out what is wrong with the tree, and you're trying to find what's called the root of the problem. And I think we have to do that with ourselves. We have to find the root of the problem. What's causing us not to continue on? What's causing us distractions? What's causing us to not want to finish or complete what we want to do? And so that's what I'm looking at myself right now. I'm like, what is distracting me? What's making me not be efficient? Or maybe it is the situation I'm in. Maybe it's very easy to point fingers outside of myself. But really, at the end of the day, here's the thing. This is the hard part that I have to do with myself, is like, anything I don't accomplish is my fault. It doesn't matter what's going on. Anything I don't accomplish is my fault, because life happens continuously. You can't stop life from happening. It happens continuously, and it's my fault if I don't get where I want to get. So the first thing is, stop blaming other people, stop blaming other things. And if those things are to blame, if there are things happening, find another place. And you heard those words, pivot. I used to hate the word pivot, or you think of Friends, pivot, when they're moving that couch in there. The couch gets jammed. And then I think of the saying, it runs into, if you always did what you always done, you always get what you always got. That is so true. And if you continue to do that, hoping for different results, that's the definition of insanity. So if you're doing the same thing over and over again, you haven't changed anything, you're insane. I'm pointing the fingers all at me, not at you. But if you're listening to this and you're offended, I hope so, because it might be some help to you. Hopefully, maybe. I'm just using myself in the fishbowl here as an example. So basically, there's been like our life. I noticed my life was going really well, like early 2000s. I had now we're gonna like kind of bring this in with a little personal stance, a little like personal thing coming in here, and then we're gonna wrap it up, and we're gonna end it off and see how this goes. So stick with me, stay with me to the end, or fast forward. I don't care. I mean, you're listening to podcasts. That's what's cool about podcasts. You can listen to them how you want to listen to them. But anyways, I want to say this. So I remember early 2000s. I remember just out of high school, I was going to go into college, going to go to MSU. I had my plans. I had everything set. I conquered my goals. I graduated in honors of humanity. I had my little my little shield button thing, ribbon I got to graduate with doing humanities, which was I was into all acting and drama and doing good for the people. I was a part of these programs that would teach kids about how to get help if they encounter abuse and all this kind of stuff. And I used multimedia in my high school to do a lot of these things. Also, I did a film festival just like my last year there in the high school. We did a first ever film festival there. They normally did just theater, but we did that, and that was really fun. Got all my friends together. And I always remember these moments, these key we'll call them flagship moments, which I'll edit it down, so I'll just jump to these flagship moments. And I remember I also worked at a movie theater which is still there in San Marcos, California. So anybody who's watching this who works at San Marcos, California, or knows this area and knows what I'm going to talk about, the Edwards 18 Cinema is still there. I need to go to a movie lately. I haven't been there forever, but I've drove by a few times, and it's still there. The 18 Cinema. Worked there. Actually got promoted as what do you call it? Assistant, not assistant manager, but a supervisor. Which is basically kind of the same thing, but you just yell at people. No, I'm just kidding. No, you tell people what to do. You organize people. You delegate what's going. You're a delegator. You're a supervisor. You tell them, you go here, you do this. This is the plan of the day, and this is how we're going to tackle it. And so that came naturally to me because I already was directing movies and doing things. And so when you make movies, especially me, I was making movies even in high school and directing my friends and stuff like that. You learn how to delegate and you learn how to work with people, and especially people that have issues, or have confidence issues. You learn that it's all the same thing. But anyway, so I remember a peak moment. Things were going good. I became a supervisor, and then I left that job to move to Montana, to go to Bozeman to be a filmmaker, and I was going to be a filmmaker. That didn't work well. Another flagship moment. I was like, this is stinking. College stinks, and it's expensive, and now I can only imagine. And I was like, man, this is did I pick the wrong thing to pursue? I should pursue something what is going on? Oh man, it was so depressing. It wasn't working, and I came back, and I remember I had 50 cents in my account. I was broke, and I got 2 jobs, started paid off my school. I remember I gave that check always to the school payment, paid it off. I did my good, did my deeds and my dues, and then eventually I got hired at a television station called MCAT and worked there for 19 years, and that was really amazing. I mean, it was a good job, and it was wonderful, and also ended up working for the MAPS Media Institute as well in the evening after school program, teaching, becoming a film instructor, and I was doing what I loved to do, and what I was paid to do was to share what I've learned and share what I do and how I do it and the style I do it in and stuff like that. And it was really cool. And I even worked with the Big Sky Documentary Film Festival one year, and that was really cool. Did it a couple times, uncredited, of course, but I helped out a lot. And we also worked with them through MCAT. And there was one moment, it was weird. I was it really felt split because I was the MAPS Media Institute and then also MCAT. We're doing the same thing, helping the Big Sky Documentary Film Festival, and I remember helping all these kids and being spread thin. I remember really crazy, but I had a good friend, Jeremy, who said something to Joel and helped me out, and I think I actually got a little bit of a bonus or something like that. I didn't get a raise, but I got a bonus, and it was really cool. It was a little thing. It was a little thank you for helping out, and I really think it was him. I don't think he'll ever say. So if he's listening to this, thanks, Jeremy. I always thank you. A good friend of mine, and we're the OGs back in the day of MAPS Media Institute, and that program's doing very well, as I've seen online. They're doing great with Emmys and all that kind of stuff. But anyways, so life was good. We ended up buying a house. We had kids. I have 2 kids, beautiful kids. Caden's 12 at the moment, and also Emery, who's 8 at the moment, and they are very involved. Caden's just like me, makes movies. He's very creative. He does stop motion animation. It's really awesome. Emery loves to be on camera. She's very entertaining. She's kind of also like a director. She likes to order and organize people and stuff like that, and we also have them involved in some of our movies that we do, and also involved in some of the things I do with our church that we're involved with. I'm a media director right now currently at my church, and also still doing Fast Coast Productions, so they do things with the Fast Coast Film Academy, Fast Coast Productions. We do things like that as well. We might even have them on too, who knows, on this podcast, because it'll be fun to talk to them. That'll be a fun segment, because I know some people like that kind of stuff, because my kids in high school like that. But anyways, I remember this moment that life was going really well, and then something started to shift. I remember something started to shift. It was around like, I think it could have been earlier, but I do remember seeing that something was changing around 2015, 2016, when I became a high school teacher. I became a high school teacher, and the idea was I was going to grow this program, and it was going to become awesome, and this is what I was going to do, and that was the plan, and it was like, oh, great. But I noticed before that, while I was working an after-school program, I was promised, like, okay, we're going to do this program, then we're going to grow it, and it's going to become great. And it didn't. It never did. It never grew. It never. I noticed that I kept on hitting a ceiling. Like they're like, we're promising this, but they'd only let me go here. And then you start to wonder. You start questioning when that starts happening. Is there something wrong with me? And that's why I started wondering, like, is there something wrong with me? And then, then you have people that don't know you. Normally it's the people that you don't know you really well. They come up to you and give you a really big compliment. And those are the people you trust, because they're like, they don't know anything. They're not sugarcoating anything. They don't know who I am. They're being nice. But you still have this little bit of a self-doubt that maybe, or imposter syndrome, as my wife always says, imposter syndrome, or you're insecure because something's not right. Why am I not getting past this threshold? And I even had one person in my job tell me that this is as far you've hit the ceiling. They actually said you've hit the ceiling and you can't go any further. And I was like, but I was promised, or I was told that it could turn into this, and now you're telling me it's not. And then I'm like, what am I doing wrong? I know all these things have been happening. Like, good things have been happening in my life. Like, I also remember we got picked up by a worldwide distribution for our film, our little low budget film called Wisconsin Project X, which was a big deal for me. And it was really crazy, and it still has impacted my career big time in a positive way. And it's changed my life. And all the opportunities, we were able to go to LA Comic Con and do like things there. And we were able to I got called to all these other comic conventions to teach how to do horror movies and special effects on a low budget, no budget, cost effective way. And that was really cool. I was being flown out to places. So my life was going really well, but I could smell something was changing, or I could smell the fart of life. We're just going to say that. And it was starting to stink. The odor was starting to stink. There was something I couldn't put my finger on, but something was changing. And I was like, you're asking yourself, am I getting older? Yeah, I'm probably getting older, because I had kids and stuff like that. I'm not the young, crazy, kooky guy I am. All this negativity I started building up in my brain, that, like, why is it that things are not going bigger? But at the same time, as I was wondering why that was, these people are telling me, no, we can't do it here at our level, at these places, at these organizations. This is as far as you go. But outside, things were elsewhere happening. Things were pursuing, things were getting big. My business was doing way better, where I had crazy opportunities, where I met crazy famous people. One who stands out to me is Huey Lewis, and he was awesome. It was a quick meet, and it was great, and we filmed him, and it was like I just opened my studio, like brick and mortar studio, and that was like my first like honorable guest that just showed up. These guys found me and called me up, because I was like one of the top production companies there in our very small town in Hamilton, Montana. And it was really cool for that opportunity to happen. So Huey Lewis, if you stumble upon this, hi, or if anybody who's friends with Huey Lewis, tell him that was really fun. He was really great. He was just a nice guy, and it was really awesome, really nice to all of us, and it was fun. And it was just like, it didn't even feel imposing or like he was a star, but it was just, very nice. He's a man's man, kind of like just a guy's guy. And that was really cool. So I had all these opportunities, and then also many more came along the way, where I also got to work on the television show Yellowstone, and meet a lot of people there and work on that film. And then later on, a lot of other things happened. And right now, it's been like, when I thought about it, like, it's been years since I've been in this weird thing that I'm in, and I don't know what to call it. And some of you who are listening to this right now, who know what I'm talking about, who've gotten past it, I would love for you guys to comment or reach out to me and talk to me and encourage me and stuff. Those of you who know exactly what I'm talking about, and you've gotten past it, you've gotten past this thing that you know what I'm talking about. It's like this thing in your head, or like what organizations tell you, this is as far as you go, this is the buck stops here. But then you're outside and you're like, I have bigger dreams, I have aspirations, I have things. I'm a huge fish, I need to get out of this fishbowl, and I need to get into the pond, and I need to get into the ocean next, because I have things I want to do. I have this desire, I don't know, it's just inside me. I would be in my high school classroom, and some of you high school students or my old high school students who are watching this can vouch for me, and please do comment or whatever, and vouch. And I'm going to try to answer all the comments too, that I see and that I can, because this is all new to me. Doing the podcast thing is all new. I mean, I'm very familiar with it, but me doing it is very new to me. But anyways, I realized that there's something happening here, and whenever I've been doing something, I want to go bigger. I want to go beyond. Even right now, I'm in this church doing media director. There's bigger things I see. I want to do bigger things. I don't want to just look at the brick and mortar. I want to go beyond. I've always had that in my heart and that desire. Even as a kid, I even did things like different in, like, I would remember going up to the teacher going, and now it's like a common thing that kids do nowadays, but I remember back in the 90s, I remember going up to the teacher going, can I do a video for my economics oral presentation? And they were like, yeah. So I made this fake presidential campaign, edited it and everything, and I got an A+ on it. It was amazing. I still did the oral part, but then I also had a video campaign, and that just like was awesome. I also, for my humanities academy that I was part of in high school, my English teacher said, you guys have to write a research paper on a certain time period in history that we've studied and gone over, because they would coordinate with the history classes and stuff like that. And I really loved the Roaring 20s, Prohibition era, the gangsters, Al Capone kind of stuff. And we made a gangster movie called The Offer, and we did this, and I asked the teacher, can I do this? And all the kids would jump on, and we made these movies, and they all got grades. We got A+. I mean, everybody who was involved jumped on, and it was like, this is fun. And I remember going, wow, this is how we're monetizing movies, is the monetization is getting the grade and in school for high school, and in a really good class for creative writing and all that good stuff, and a language class that's going to give you your dues for your humanities academy. And so all these kids would come in, and that's how I made other friends too, and I'm still friends with them to this day. We made a little like short film called The Offer, and made this movie, this gangster film about the Prohibition period, and we just told a story, and the teacher just loved it, and we premiered it in the classroom, and I think we even showed it at the film festival that we had, and later that year, and that was kind of like the senior project that I did. And I remember just in my senior year of my high school, I knew this was the last time. I knew things were changing, and I needed to do something more when I go to pursue it. And I got out of high school, and things were hard, but then I always thought like, well, let me go to a smaller place. I was going to pursue Ventura, a university out there, and I also looked at a few places in LA and in San Diego, and at the time San Marcos's university was being built up. But this is what I think it's like at a time in your life, I feel like life is always going to happen, and it's going to stop you from your dreams no matter what, and it's going to discourage you from doing all the things that you want to do no matter what. That's what life is going to do. Like when we're born into the world, I mean, we're like cold and naked and miserable, and they're shoving tubes in our nose, and it's like, welcome to Earth. And right immediately when we're born, the world is trying to stop us, trying to destroy us. And we're just, as kids, we're like, yay, look at this, is cool, look at this. I always remember being an 80s kids, and I kind of knew that what I was watching, like cartoon wise on cable television. I had cable. I knew I was watching some cool stuff. Like Transformers was new, G.I. Joe was new. I mean, it's been old, but the cartoons were brand new. 80s version cartoons, A-Team, all this good stuff. Knight Rider, fun stuff that was changing my life. Just be like, wow, what is this? Ninja Turtles. I mean, oh my goodness, just fun things that were happening during the 80s. And then in the 90s, I remember when we changed from the 80s to the 90s, I was like, no, I hated it when I was like, I remember this as a kid, when I'm aware of time. I was aware that I'm running out of time as a kid. I didn't think like I'm running out of time. I just didn't like it was changing. I remember they go, it's the 90s, pal. Everybody was saying that in the movies. That was the slogan. It's the 90s. It's the 90s. It's the 90s. Like, get out of the 80s. It's the 90s. It's new. We're fresh. We're new. I didn't like that. I was like, I'm not done. I had things I wanted to do, and I'm not done. The 80s not. My point is that life moves no matter if you're ready or not. Life continues to move no matter if you're ready or not, so you just have to go and get up and go. What is your get up and go? What is your way of going, I'm going to go do this and do this now? Like right now, today I had a determination when I got up, like, what am I going to do? If I sleep in by accident, what am I going to do? I even set my alarm today and I snoozed it so many times because I knew I was off from my regular job where I have to be at a place at a certain time, that I was like, okay, today's my day, so I'm going to do this. But I went out and I got up this morning, I did this, and I nailed them out, and I did it well. And I have to do things well, like whether it's like grown-up things, what I'm going to say is grown-up things is like paying the bills, making sure you have things taken care of for your family, insurance, all that fun stuff. Whereas other things, these are the things that I want to do to grow me. I want to grow and become better so I can do these other things, take care of these other things. And this, if I grow this and become better at this, this is going to make me feel good as a person. This is going to make me stand out as either a person that has some, is an asset for another person, another client out there. And that's what I'm trying to do right now. And so when I remember, it was like around, I think 2015, Emery was just born. And I think we sold our house. We sold our house and we moved into another house. And we're like, let's change up our house. And we're running into. We noticed that the organizations that promised us things, that they were just holding out. Like they're promising, they're just keeping us happy. They were just keeping us. There's a lot of terms you can say, but it was just like they were dangling a carrot in front of me, like on a stick. If I was the donkey, I became the donkey, the jackass that was following the carrot, you know. And I realized that. In that moment, I realized that. I was like, wait a second. I realized that they're just dangling a carrot, and I'm never gonna get it with them. And that's not. At first, I was mad at them. At first, I was frustrated at, wait, you said you were going to do this. Like even the place I was at one point, the person who was ahead of it was like, I want to do this, I want to do that. Christian, I want to hire you to do what you do. And they gave me the keys. I was like, whoa, I got the keys. I didn't even say yes to the job. That's how I got hired at Maps Media Institute. Peter Austin, which God bless his heart. I miss him. Fun guy. Love his family. Great people. Love that dude. I always remember saying dude. Changed all of our lives. Anybody who knows, if I say Peter Rawson, there's something that happens to your heart. There's a little part of him inside of us everywhere, and he'll live on forever. But anyways, I remember him, like I was walking out of the Maps Media Institute, and I just told him, like, this place looks great. He invited me to check it out with everybody else. He invited a bunch of people, had an open house, and I came down and I was like, boy, this is great. And I remember I go, well, I got to go because I wanted to get home to my family because the next day I had to work, and I wanted to have the rest of my evening, with my family and finish up some things and have some personal time, And so I was like, goodbye. I left early, but he came out of the classroom. Remember, he left the classroom and just came and hunted me down in the hall. When you come back next week, and you work for us, and that's how I would get hired on things. And it was like an amazing time. And then 2015, 2016 rolls around. I'm working for the high school, and the same thing is happening. But then things change, and that person who hired me stepped down from their position, and that vision wasn't there, and this vision wasn't there, and people were failing me. And here's the thing: everybody's going to fail you. That's why you have to stop blaming other people. They're just people. And guess what? The only way you get to where you want to get when life happens is you. You're the one who says, life, I don't care what's happening right now, but I have an agenda and you're going to be a part of it. And this is my life and this is how I see it. This is what's going to happen. And then if this happens and you can't go through this door and this road is closed and you can't go and it's torn up, you find another way through. You make a road through. That's what you do with life happens. And right now, what I'm doing right now in my life right now is I'm dieting to be better, healthy. I'm watching when I go to sleep and what I do. I'm really careful at what my prioritizing my time. Can't talk. And then also I'm just doing things. I'm also being proactive. And proactive is a key thing in doing this. I'm being proactive. I want things to happen, so I'm going to make them happen. I'm not going to wait for other people to make it happen. I'm going to make it happen. Another thing is I've been praying to God and that He can help me and restore me and whatever you guys believe in. That you know what I would just say is I pray for you that you will find the truth and you'll be able to figure that out. And I believe in God, and I pray that He will also help this channel. And I pray for you guys that you'll find this channel. And if you found this channel, that I prayed, and here you are. Anyways, so I pray for you too. And I want to just say that find your way, and your way is you're going to get up. You're going to say, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to become the best baseball player. I'm going to become the best football player, sports person, whatever. Okay, now life happened. Now what are you going to do? Well, I'm going to keep on pursuing. I'm going to pursue my dreams. I'm going to do this and do this. It might change a little bit. It might not look exactly how you imagine it. Life never looks exactly how you imagine it. How I got where I am right now and where I'm going, which is a whole nother podcast episode, is right now we're in this transition in our life right now where we took the different path road. Me and Danielle woke up. That's my wife Danielle, and she'll be on this podcast. We woke up one morning and we went like, life is not working. What if we, Christian, you turned in your resignation as a school teacher, and what if we did this? And we, all of a sudden, things fell into place when we started taking a step of faith. We started taking a walk of faith, and we started making a step in the direction we wanted to go. We were like, this is where we want to go. And then things started falling in place. It was really crazy. We had like one of our friends said, you know what? I know you just, got out of your house and you're ready to move to California because we decided we're going to go to California. Everybody's like, why are you going to California? California sucks and blah, 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 blah. But we're like, we feel like we need to go to California. This is where we're going to do this. We just need something different because we've been in Hamilton. We have family in California, so that's a really good, easy way of going to California because we have tons of family in California. But anyways, we were like, well, let's go, let's pursue this. And it didn't make any sense, but we're like, let's do it because we can. Let's try and we can fail. Let's try. We can fail. We can take a risk and fail. Or we can sit back here and do the same thing we've been doing every time we've been doing it, doing the same thing, getting the same stuff. We're doing the same thing we always done, so we get what we always got. And we're hoping for new results. And we realized, wow, we're insane. This is not working. We have to do something different. So we decided to totally change our lives. And what I remember that day, I walked into the school with my resignation. I gave it to the principal, and I was like, here's my resignation. And I remember too, she called me in for a whole different thing. And I remember giving that resignation, and there was surprise on the face. And just like, wow, things are changing. And that was the moment too. It was like, I already had the moment with myself and my wife that we prayed about it and stuff. And I gave my resignation. And we knew like our life's going to change. The scary part was I knew I was going to have to do all these things to make it happen. And one thing was like, I don't know how it's going to work. I don't know how we're going to get to California. And we literally made a backpack and put it on the back of my Mustang, our Ford Mustang GT 2008 blue Mustang. We fit our whole family, a cat and a dog. And I didn't know how it was going to work, but we put them in there, and I didn't know how a cat was going to react. And the cat was amazing. Everything worked out. A lot of the things I was worrying about did not come to fruition. And there was other things that came to fruition. The other things that I didn't even imagine or think about. Life happens, right? You can't even think about it. Life does that. It surprises you with things. And so we got in the car and we went. And as we said we were going and we were doing, things started to happen because people were like, oh, you're doing that? And then my dad and my grandma, they had an opportunity for us, a place to stay. Things started happening. It was really weird how we didn't see it coming. That wasn't there before. But because they saw us, what we were trying to do and doing, they were like, let's help them out. The family came to help out. Those of you who don't have a family that wants to help out, the same thing, it's exactly the same thing, is how are you going to do it? You just need to go do it. Go walk and go do it. And that's what we're doing right now. And that's how I'm attacking life right now, is going to do it. Like right now, instead of talking about doing a podcast, I'm doing a podcast right now. I was thinking about podcasts for the millionth time, and I haven't done it. And me and Danielle were talking about me doing a podcast and her doing a podcast, and I hadn't done it. And so today I sat down and I did it. And then I've been doing all these other things that I've been trying to do to get done so I can do this. And this is what I'm going to do. This is the podcast that I'm trying to do right now. I'm also checking everything because I am, this is all new. This is the first episode. You guys have listened to the first episode. So how I'm going to tie it off in a bow, like I've been just saying, reiterating, and what's cool about this, you can fast forward. But what I'm going to say is, when life happens, it always happens. Get up and stop blaming people and stop feeling entitled. Go make something of yourself. Go find who you are. Go become the better person that you are. You are already that person. I know I'm that person. I can feel it inside me. But then organizations and people around you, they won't understand. They don't see it yet because you haven't become it yet. You haven't even given yourself a chance yet. So a lot of people, they talk about like what's out the door. Like, don't go out the door. There's bad things out the door. Open that door, break that door down, and walk out there and go find your life. Go do it. And that's how I'm going to tie it up in a bow. And that's why I'm talking to you guys. And that's been a Mr. Ackerman Rant. Thank you for listening to this Mr. Ackerman Rant episode 3000 podcast 3, not episode 3000, episode 1. This is Mr. Ackerman Rant podcast 3000. I love you, 3000 guys. See you later, and I hope this helped you out. Please tell people about me. Please help me get this podcast going. Please contact me. Go to fastcoastfilmacademy.com. Go to fastcoastproductions.com. Go to christianackerman.com. All the description will have all this information. Thank you guys for your time. Please tell people about me. We're going to be having this out weekly. Thank you for your time.